Okay, here we go. After numerous attempts to write out my lessons and epiphanies and downloads from my recent medicine journey, I decided that it flows much easier through my voice instead of written word. And I don't know why that is, but I'm sure one of the lessons is to share my voice, to share my intuition, yeah, and my intonation and my tone and the frequency that's emanating out of me. So I guess I'll start here. During the journey, we each set some intentions for how we wanted to proceed with the journey and what we wanted to experience and what we were putting our focus and attention on. Obviously, intentions are a beautiful thing. It's like the seeds that are planted, but there's also that room for surprise and that room for the divine to just bring in exactly what you need instead of what you think you want and what you think your intentions are. I got exactly what I asked for, and I also got more. And so there were so many insights that I want to share, that I'm going to share, that will come in time. And I know that divine timing is a thing, and it has been almost a week since my last email or post about the journey, and I didn't really get into any specifics. So here we are, becoming specific, becoming intimate, becoming real. And I hope that this will inspire you to share more of your personal life as well. I'm doing it for me, I'm doing it for you, I'm doing it for all of us. Okay, so back to the intention. So my intention was simple. It was, in the moment, I felt my intention is for connection and for love, and that is what I wanted to feel and experience. And a lot of what transpired in the journey on that Friday was beautiful connection with beautiful people, my partner and my shaman and her partner, and the connection with the earth, the connection with all that is, the connection with myself. And it was just lovely to be able to feel so tuned in and feel that strength in who I am so that I could help support my partner who was going through this. He was taking the hero's dose, and I was just taking enough to be connected to him during his journey. And it was magical. And I'll get more into the journey at another point, but I don't feel my energy and attention and focus on that right now. I feel that I need to share that the journey is amazing, and what happens on that day when you have the medicine in you, in its potency, is phenomenal, is beautiful, is transformational. However, the real juiciness actually comes when you integrate it into your actual life, when you take it with you and it starts to percolate, and then it starts to marinate, and then it starts to share more insights. I feel connected to this medicine forever and always. The moment that I took it in the first time, I felt like it never left me. And the same here. I feel like every time I take it, I get more connected to the medicine, to the mushrooms, to Mother Nature, to this earth experience, and I get way more connected to myself, who I am, my gifts, my genius, my talent, my inner truth. And after the journey, what I felt was this deep connection to the hub tree. And I want to explain this analogy to you because it's been percolating in me for years. I don't know if you've watched The OA, but it's a series that was on Netflix, and she had gone into the house and then into the roots, into the tree, and she was communicating with this like neural network, right? And another movie reference that kind of took me on this journey to really understanding what the hub tree was Avatar. And if you remember the big tree and the spirit of all that is, like those little they look like uh, dandelion seeds floating through the air, but they have an intelligence, divine intelligence, and that tree held the lineage, held the memory, held the connection to the ancestors, to all that is, and they prayed to it. So they were praying for the future and connecting to the past, and just so beautiful. And as Belle and I were creating Archetype 45, which is goodwill, I felt a very strong connection to the hub tree again. And the hub tree, if you aren't familiar with it, it is within an organism of trees. And I say organism of trees because with birch trees and aspen trees and certain species of trees, they are connected. They're not an individual tree by itself. It's actually connected through the root system, through the mycelium that is underneath the ground. It communicates. They know what's happening to all parts of this organism, of this ecosystem. And the hub tree is a bigger tree than all the other trees because it has to carry more nutrients, it has to carry more carbon, it has to carry more water, it has to carry more. It has the resources. And if you're familiar with Gene Keys and human design, the 45 is it's like a king or queen energy. It has the resources, and this 45 shares these resources with the 21, which we call the manager, because it is the manager of these resources: water, food, money, all these things. And back in the day, the king or queen archetype, we could have dominating, and very, what's the word I'm searching for? Dictator, like a dictatorship. We would have not altruistic kings and queens. And so that's the old energy, right? But the new energy we can learn from nature. Nature can teach us how we are to be. When we bring humans into the mix, we make all these rules and judgments and rights and wrongs and to follow, right? We have all these laws and these rules, but they were made by humans who are innately flawed, who are trying their best. And nature always finds a way. Nature is the divine rule maker. And if we spend time to see how nature nurtures, how nature works, we can get this deeper sense of connection and integrity within ourselves and know what is right versus what is the authority telling me I need to do, need to be, need to create, need to not do. And so the hub tree, like I said, it's bigger than all the other trees, and there is this connection it has to its other trees. And the way that it is connected is through the mycelium, through the fungi that are underneath the ground. It's called the mycorrhizal network. And we have the animal kingdom, we have the plant kingdom, and we have the fungi kingdom. And the fungi kingdom actually is huge, immense. They have their own intelligence, and it's absolutely amazing. So the medicine that I took is part of that fungi system, that fungi network. And what the purpose of the mycorrhizal network is to connect the hub tree and all the other trees to each other. When we do that, the hub tree trades in a mutually beneficial relationship, trades its resources with the fungi, whether it be sugar, whether it be carbon, whether it be different things. It shares it with the fungi, with the mycorrhizal network. And in exchange, the mycorrhizal network is communicating between the hub tree and the other trees. And it's saying, this tree's in trouble. This tree has an infestation. This tree is a brand new tree. It needs more nutrients. Let's send more to it. It needs to survive. Let's help it grow. And so through that, the hub tree allocates those resources and helps the ecosystem, the organism, it's one organism of trees, to thrive. And if one tree starts to die, it affects the whole organism, and it can compromise the whole organism. And so what I have understood during my last 2 medicine journeys was that we're all hub trees. All of us have the ability to be the hub tree, because we are the creators of our own reality, and we're actually the leading lady and leading men in our own world, right? The sun actually revolves around us. Everything revolves around us, each individual person. However, we're one organism, so everything you're interacting with is actually you. Everything you're coming in contact with is actually you. You are creating this experience for yourself. So everything that you are magnetizing to you comes from this source within you. And when the illusion of this Maya dissolves, it is just you. You are it. However, with this separation that occurs here, right? My consciousness is in my body, your consciousness is in your body. We have a shared consciousness, but you are only aware of what you are consciously observing, what you can see, what you can feel, what you can taste, what you're around. So if my husband is at work, right, I don't consciously know, what is he doing? What is happening to him? I'm not experiencing him in this moment. However, when you tune into the energetic realm, when you tune into the subtle planes of our existence, you can connect to anyone. It knows no time, no space. You just are connected. Connection is the thing that we retain no matter what. You can choose to turn off your connection for protection, for whatever the story is that you decided that you're going to shut off your sensitivity, shut off your connection. You're also shutting off your connection to yourself, because everything is you. I didn't think I was going to be saying all this right now, but this is what wants to come through. So back to the hub tree. We're all hub trees. And what we are connected to is our fractal, is our bloodline. We each have a connection to our ancestors, and our ancestors come from 2 different places. Our ancestors come from our bloodline, our blood lineage, right? From our parents, way back to the beginning of time. We have this coursing through our veins, right? Our blood, it carries that information. It carries that lineage. Our bones carry that. They have this crystalline structure where we're able to go in and tap into that Akash. And going into that, we're also connected to, our monad. We're connected to our fractal. We're connected to all of the lives that we are experiencing now simultaneously, quote unquote, in the past, quote unquote, in the future, all of that within us, connected to it. And at the same time, we are connected to our fractal. We're connected to the people in this life, in this you moment, right? Ashley is connected to a fractal. The people that will come into her life, that are here now, that have been there in the past, that will come in the future, they are this organism, this network that I am connected to. And I do believe that we are limited beings in a way that it's very hard to hold a ton of information at once. So sometimes we jump from network to network to network. We uproot ourselves and then root ourselves in a new network. And I believe that we go through this transformation, revolution, rebirth process with our fractal, with our network. We're not always in resonance with who we were, resonating with 10 years ago, resonating with yesterday. And so there is always this orientation with the highest and best fractal that we are resonating with in this now moment. And we'll have people that come into our lives that we try to dance with, and then it ends up not happening because we can't get in synergy or in sync with them. And that's fine. That's beautiful. There's people that are here for seasons. There are people that are here for lifetimes. There are people that are here for this lifetime. I think I already said lifetime, so I was already tuning into the idea of many lifetimes. So connection. The more your heart is open and the more you give without an expectation of receiving, the more abundance you tap into. So I have been contemplating this idea of Hubtree and resources. Hubtree carries different resources, right? As a human, we have resources. What resources do we play with? We play with money. We play with time. We play with energy. And we also have this life force energy that we can give and receive, and we use it when we have sex. We use like this life force energy, this sexual tantric energy. And there's many other resources we have, but those are the few that I would name. And when you feel limited in time, when you feel limited in money, when you feel limited in life force, maybe you're exhausted, you don't freely give those resources, right? Because we become single-minded, single-focused, because we're like, I don't have enough. Why would I give? I'm giving and I'm running out, right? When we don't believe that we are abundant beings, we start to believe that we can run out of these things, because time tells us that you have one life to live and eventually you'll die. So time is a precious resource. So when you lose time, you feel like you've lost a lot, because you're like, wow, I spent all this time and energy in this relationship and it's just failed. It just ended. And then you feel that regret, you feel that remorse, you feel like, what was the juice here? What was the medicine? Like, what? Some people don't even get to that. They're like, good riddance. And then they feel like, man, I just wasted so much time, right? However, there's always a mutually beneficial exchange. You are never being taken from, you're never being taken advantage of without your consent. Even if your mind thinks that it is not consenting, there is a contract somewhere, someplace for you to learn something. It may not be a beautiful thing that you've learned, but it may be, I needed to learn about boundaries. I needed to learn about this sacred no. I needed to learn about, you name it. And when we can take the time to retreat, to pull back, and to look back, we get to extract the medicine. But oftentimes a lot of people do not take the time to extract the medicine. And what happens? We repeat cycles over and over and over again, because our soul came here for these specific lessons. And when we don't bring our conscious awareness to these experiences, to this dharma, then we keep generating the same karma and we keep attracting the same dharma. We keep attracting the same thing, same people. Some people stay in the same fractal line forever because you're here to learn something from that, and then you move on, and then you move on, because we're continuously expanding. Maybe it's not that we're jumping from fractal to fractal. Maybe it's we're adding to our connection. Maybe it is that we are coming more into unity with everyone that we meet. Maybe even if you're not in resonance with the person anymore, you still unite with them. You still take them in. It's just you're not sharing in a way your conscious resources with them at that time. They're doing their own thing, but you are still treasuring and having gratitude for that connection, and you're never disconnected. It's just this awareness being made that, oh, I now know more of me. I now got to experience more of me. And then you learn from that interaction and you become more of yourself. And connection is not just this external thing. Connection is this internal thing as well, where we are connecting to deeper parts of ourselves, where we're getting to know more of ourselves. My last medicine journey, I got to know about my inner child. I got to become her. And she wanted everyone to be waiting on her hand and foot. She wanted what she wanted, and she wasn't afraid to say it. She was also very sensitive, very emotional, very tuned in. She was me. I am her. Before, I would talk about my inner child as if she was this separate aspect of me. Like, my inner child. Like, it didn't feel like there was a connection. It just felt like there was this part of me hanging out to the left of me. Yeah, this inner child sitting next to me. But after my medicine journey, because I had this felt lived experience of the totality of my inner child, she was me. I was her. Then she absorbed into me and I integrated her, right? And I believe that we have these fragmentations of ourselves that we have disconnected from, that we have decided to pull the plug from. And we experience them as separate parts of ourselves. Maybe the world told us that we weren't good enough as this expression. So we're like, wow, in order for me to get love externally, I need to separate myself from this part of me. So we do, we separate from this part of ourselves. We push it away, even though we know we're connected to it. It's like, go live underneath the staircase like Harry Potter. You're a magical, amazing being, but I can't see that. The world can't see that. So get out of my face. I don't want to be reminded of the pain of rejection from the people outside of me, from you. And we push away this part of ourselves. So, and I didn't think I was pushing away that part of her. I felt playful. I felt creative. I felt a lot of the things my inner child is, but I wasn't able to tune into and tap into the fullest expression of her until I had that experience on my last journey. And it was hours of communing with her. It was a communion. It was me learning to dance the dance of my inner child and coming into communion with her, and then her absorbing into me. And from that, I felt this maturation, this maturity happening inside of me. When we fragment from parts of ourselves, we are not in our wholeness. We are not in our totality, right? We have all these pieces. We are whole, but there is this perception that our mind creates in this body that pushes away parts of us, right? On another plane, on another level, we're whole, we're healed, we're complete. But in this world where we have a mind, our mind creates the Maya. Our perception creates reality. So if we have decided at one time or another to push away a part of ourselves, we create disconnection and separation. And the separation we feel from ourselves gets then projected out into the world with our experiences with other people, where we experience that same separation. Be it separation, guilt, rejection, any of these wounds, right? Repression, denial, rejection, guilt, separation. I'm missing the third line. That one's an important one, and apparently it's not in my conscious mind, so I'm going to have to look into that later. Shame. Oh, man, shame. Okay, now that it just came to me, I feel like it's very important to mention since I couldn't consciously remember it in that moment. Okay, so I feel like one of the deepest wounds of all is shame. Guilt is, you're so annoying. Stop being annoying. Stop, like feeling guilty for an action, right? Feeling guilty for an action is like, you keep, stop talking so loud. It's so annoying when you talk so loud. Stop talking so loud. Stop talking so fast. And you're like, oh, okay, I'll stop. I feel guilty because it annoys that person, right? We feel guilt for, you forgot my birthday. Why'd you forget my birthday? Oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot your birthday. I feel so guilty. Now I'm going to react to this guilt and buy you some magnificent present to hope that you forgive me. And this is our reaction to our guilt. It's not our reaction to the part. We feel guilt inside of us and we react to that part of ourselves. Shame is much deeper. Shame is when you are repeatedly told that you are flawed, that you are stupid, that you are, and you can't do anything about it. When it moves from action to being, you can change your actions, but there's something about the repetitiveness of being told you're not worthy, you're not enough, you're horrible, why don't you just die? You begin to feel shame. This deep sense of shame of self, of being. Shame for who you are. And cool, Aurora. Oh, you're breaking eggs. Okay, so my daughter has 2 eggs and she just broke one. Kids, okay. The way that I work is I'm constantly in flow of information, flow of communication, flow of that. And I went to go check on my daughter, and she had just broken an egg in front. It's broken. The yolk is on the ground. It's broken. there's a message here. And I feel like we'll get to it, but I needed this content. So thanks, Aurora, for breaking the egg. And now I need to clean up the mess. But okay, let's get back to connection and the hub tree. We're all hub trees, and we're all connected to our fractal. There are people that come into our life, and they may be bullies. They may be horrible to us. But when we are in a low place of, like, you know, on the high, the scale of consciousness, right? We have the really low places. We have to actually get to anger to be able to break through. To be able to break through the oppression, the victim state. We need to get to anger. And we have these divine messengers that have created a contract with us, right? In another time, another place, like in the etheric realm, that said, I'm going to be really horrible to you, and I'm doing it for your growth. I'm doing it for your evolution, and that is going to be the player I'm going to play. And this is who I'm going to be for you, right? And we have our abusers, and sometimes we get to the point where so much anger and rage is generated within us that it breaks out, and it breaks us out, right? The egg cracks. We get to break through the shell of our illusion that keeps us feeling like we're victims. And when we do that, we get to see a whole new world, right? Because when we're in the shell of our victimization, our oppression, we feel like we're caged. We feel like birds. We're caged. We're caged within the shell. And we don't know that there's another world out there because we feel so limited. We feel so horrible. We feel so much shame for who we are. And we have these abusers that keep poking us. But really, they're just poking us to wake us up and out of our dream, out of our illusion that we're not powerful, that we are not creators, that there is someone that is dominating us, that is better than us, that is more powerful than us, but their power is just showing us the power within us. They are a reflection of who we are, and we can become not necessarily the abusers, right? Because you just be perpetuating abuser, persecutor, victim, that whole scenario. It would be repeated. So what they do is they bring you back home to yourself, if you can see the gift that they are trying to bring. They may not consciously know they're doing it. They probably don't. But all of our connections are gold. All of our connections are beautiful. And you can even have gratitude for your abusers. You can even have gratitude for the most extreme behavior in humanity, for the killers on death row, because they played a part. And yeah, it was a hard part. They're the scapegoats. They're the wounded. Hurt people. And they're just here to remind you of your own hurt. And if we cannot take it personally after the fact, taking it personally allows us to liberate ourselves. We have that liberation that comes through continued oppression, continued poking. Like you have to get to the point where you say enough is enough, and then you break through. But the breakthrough doesn't happen until the fire gets hot enough. It does not happen until it gets hot enough. So all of our connections are nourishing us. There is a symbiotic, mutually beneficial exchange between all of them. And sometimes it takes many, many, many interactions with abusive people or whatnot to come to the straw that breaks the camel's back. And then you're like, wow, all right, no is no. And here I learned something. Can I have that? Thank you. It's very gentle. She's got another. Yeah, and you just cracked the egg. Here's my daughter cracking eggs. Sometimes when people are not gentle with us, like my daughter was not gentle with the egg, it cracks us. And our wound is what cracks open. Thank you. Yes, I see. Our wound cracks open. And our light pours out. And the light pours in. But we have to break to be able to mend. And there's even the Chinese plates, because I forget how it's called, but they fill the cracks with gold. And I feel like if you can enter into the depth of your wounding, you'll find the gold. And it's through our connections to other people and to ourselves, or our disconnection to ourselves and to other people, that we really need to like go into. Because the more connected you feel, the more grateful you feel for being here. And the more you uncover your genius, the more you appreciate your connections, whether they be labeled good or bad. Good or bad experiences, like, oh, I enjoyed this. Oh, I did not enjoy this. Doesn't mean, like, there's no right or wrong. They're all right. They are all right, and you're all right. So what I have experienced is a deeper connection to my partner, a deeper connection to Mother Nature, a deeper connection to myself and my gifts, and a deeper connection to my own life force. What is the sacred flow of yes for me? And where is this sacred flow of yes within me taking me to? It's a river I'm traveling on. And I was just sitting like standing making breakfast today, and just in deep gratitude for my fractal, in deep gratitude for the people that I get to spend my time with, deep gratitude for the people that are teaching me things every day, for my clients, for my teachers, for my kids, for my partner. Yay! Just this really deep gratitude. And I didn't feel that before. I didn't feel my heart open. More and more, I'm daring to open my heart and experience more and to see a different perspective. I think the biggest thing that has opened my heart is when I dared to change my perception or perspective on something. When I found that I've become solid on a perception, if I've dared to see it a different way, it's opened things up for me. It's opened my heart, first and foremost. Then it's really transformed the connection. I used to see my husband as my abuser. And over time, I've grown to see him as my protector, as someone that deeply cares for me, and as someone who is deeply wounded, just like I'm deeply wounded. We're all playing with each other's wounds, helping each other heal through letting us have awareness of our wounding. When we have awareness, we're able to choose something different. And in that choosing something different, we have a different experience. And maybe we'll be able to see the gift in the shadow. Maybe we'll be able to find pleasure in the pain. But this is just like a reminder that you're fractal, that your tribe, that the people in your life are precious gems, and that you too are a precious gem. And the more you know yourself, the more you'll feel and have gratitude for the connection that you have within and without. So thank you for listening to this. And this seems to be the format that is most appropriate for me. So I hope you enjoy. And thank you so much for sharing your time with me. And I'd love to know what came up for you. And what did my words awaken for you? Or what resonance do you have with them? Can you say bye, Aurora? Say bye-bye.
Bye.
She helps too. Thank you. Bye.